true.
We have been joined by Madam Rupam Shah. Madam Shah is a master in organic chemistry from Bombay University. She is CSIR net qualified and holds Cambridge International Diploma for teachers and trainers from the Cambridge University. She is a certified program leader for the Cambridge International Certificate in Teaching and Learning. She has been associated with the field of education since 24 years, of which 9 years in the capacity as a principal in the reputed schools. She is the founder and the CEO of Quality Education Asia. We extend a very hearty welcome to Madam Rupam Shahji. She has
Thank you
joined
so
us this
much.
evening. And this,
Thank you, Dr. Sharma, for giving me this opportunity. May I just share my screen? Today, what I'm going to talk about is something which I think, Dr. Sharma, your quest and my quest is the same. Let me just share with you that very recently I have started off with one of my talk series that's on leadership, and the whole program is based on identifying what are those things which can be done to the education industry, wherein India can regain its lost glory of being a Vishwaguru. So I am also going ahead and talking to a lot of leadership experts and finding it out that what are those things which we need to be changing. And in all that quest, there are a lot of things which we have discovered. Some of it is what I'm going to be sharing today. And you can see on the slide over here, there are two columns which says about the top 10 skills. What are those top 10 skills which were needed in 2015 and how has it changed in 2020? And obviously it's going to be changing further as we move because the job industry is changing. And this particular data is from the World Economic Forum, and it says that the top skill, in fact the top skill in 2015 as well as in 2020 are the same. It's the complex problem solving skill. And then if you see, the next is critical thinking, further it is creativity, and then people management. Now if we are talking about making the education system relevant, I think what's more important is that we have to focus towards skilling. All our focus should be towards skilling our students, towards making them do complex problem solving. And I think everybody would agree to this, that if in today's time, if you have an idea, and that idea, as Malini ma'am said, that the child has created an app and that app is been patented and now this child is earning so much of money. So if you have a small idea, that can be converted into a business venture. Now from where will this idea emerge? This idea will come out of the problem which the world is facing at the moment, society is facing. That problem, if you're able to solve, give the solution, you will be able to create a business venture and maybe a multi-million-dollar company. So complex problem solving is important. So the point is, how do we do this in our school? How do we do this kind of skilling where children are doing complex problem solving? How is it that they can do critical thinking and so on in our current scenario? So what I would like to propose are 4 different steps, 4 very solid steps which we as a country who can take, and then we will see that yes, the transformation that we are wanting may happen. I mean, this is my belief. I cannot guarantee it, but this is what I feel that can happen. So the first step to that is growing leadership. If you see in the schools, when we are talking about leadership, most of the time, the school leaders, how do we become school leaders? It is that a very good, highly committed, sincere, and a nice teacher is the one who's promoted, up to the administrative ladder and reaches the position of a principal, right? And how does this person becomes a leader? From a teacher to the leader, it is because that person learns from the environment, makes all the mistakes and whatever, and then takes the examples from whatever leadership examples are available around. And that's how the leadership happens in the school. And if you see the different kind of schools which are available in India, all the different segments and the different principles, the fact is that if we really want that the education system should change, we have to grow that leadership. It is we need to have an institute, a national institute, which is recognized by the government for school leadership. Anyone who wants to become a school principal has to go through a rigorous 1 year or a 2 year course which talks about all the nuances of leadership. How is it that you need to do strategic planning? How is it that you need to do people management? How do you align people to the vision? You know, what are those pedagogies which needs to be done? So if we have the right leader in the school, you will find that the environment in the school automatically will start changing. One leader will impact so many teachers, and hence the school environment. So I think the first and the foremost thing which needs to be done is that we need to systematically grow leadership inside these schools. And then the second important point is that making teaching a desirable career option. I think Dr. Sharma, you also pointed it out that we need to reposition the teaching job. So right now, this is not the first career choice, not even the second career choice. So I don't want to tell you that what is the level when this career choice is actually existing. So the fact is that until and unless we have the best of the talent coming in, when will this best of the talent come? When it is as lucrative as any other job which is there. So why people go to the corporates? It's too paying, it's good, right? But then that's not the same over here. But if you see teachers and the kind of work which is expected from them, the kind of expertise which is expected from them, you need to have very, very skilled people, highly trained people. So it's important that we need to reposition our teaching career. So therefore, we have to make it a more desirable career option. And we as a country have to look into it. Education should become the priority of a nation. If we really want to grow, education should be our first priority. Unfortunately, it is not. And I don't know when this is going to happen. We have to take it up at the priority level. The third important thing is that we need to bring a shift in pedagogy. It's big time. It's time that we need to shift. What are those 5 important factors that we need to change in pedagogy? The first important thing is we have to bring in active learning approaches. No more teacher-centric class. It has to be student-centric. All the planning which has to happen has to be student-centric. So therefore, active learning approaches inside the class. Second important thing, we have to reach out to all the students of the class. We just do not have to teach that mythical middle of the class, right? So therefore, it is important that we integrate differentiated instructions. We have to make it more personalized. We have to reach out to each and every student. Third important thing is we need to integrate metacognition, which means that we need to make children owners of their learning. They should be able to analyze. They should be able to analyze and see how are they learning, in which form they are learning, what's the best form in which they can learn. They should assess themselves. Even John Hattie's research talks about self-assessment as one of the major interventions which has positive effect on the students' learning outcome. Then we have to make when we do formative assessments inside the class, the teacher has to give formative feedback. Formative assessments are useless until and unless it is coupled with formative feedback. Important feedback needs to be given to the students so that the child makes progress. And then we need to make our assessments very, very meaningful. So the type of assessments which we have to conduct should be the ones wherein we are testing our children on the higher level of Bloom's taxonomy, which means the analysis, evaluation, creation. So we need to change our assessment pattern. A lot of this has been now brought up by CBSE. CBSE has taken a lot of initiatives now, shifted towards competency-based learning, and I think is talking about all of these things. But it's high time that we in schools, we train our teachers into it, they become absolutely experts into it, and then only we will see that this system we will be able to do it. CCE failed. It wasn't a good system. It's not that it was a bad system, just because we were not prepared for it. Similarly, it's important that we train our teachers towards it. So this is one of the major changes which needs to be done. And the last one, the fourth one, which I think Malini ma'am also told that the children should be able to look inwards. And this, I believe, is the game changer. If we really want to lead the education world, in the entire world, spirituality, if it gets integrated as a part of the curriculum right from kindergarten, and we make a proper curriculum of it, and we see that yes, the children are trained into, aligning their body, the increase in the concentration, the human potential is immense. We don't even know how much of the potential is there. The fact is, if that happens right from the beginning and the child knows how to concentrate, the restlessness of the mind will go down, and we will feel they'll be able to absorb better. Also, they will come out as a wholesome personality. They will be growing. The emotional quotient will be high. The social quotient will be high. So what I believe is that we, as our country, we need to be actually looking into a spiritual curriculum, a proper spiritual curriculum, grade wise, which should be very religiously taken. I mean, this should not be given less importance than any science, mathematics, or any other subject. In fact, this is the prime most thing, because this is the art of man making, and this is not anything related to religion. It is spiritual. It's completely spiritual. It's a science. It's an art. So therefore, I believe that if we are looking into the school leadership, growing the school leadership, making the teaching job more respectable, working on our pedagogy, and also integrating spirituality, probably these four things, if we do, we would be able to make our education system far more powerful and probably distinct from the whole world. That's it. Thank you, Dr. Sharma.
Okay. Thank you very much, ma'am. Wonderful points which you have brought out.